Call this February 23rd, 2016, regular council meeting to order. We have a prayer by Councilman Halter.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this opportunity to serve the community. We just pray that you would give us wisdom and help us to understand your will for this community. We also pray for those that are struggling with health issues. We've heard a number of them. Pray that you would bring them back to health and guide us throughout this evening. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen.
Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Right. We need the clerk to call the roll.
Roll call.
Oh, my.
Here. Bode.
Here.
Dries.
Here.
Halter.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Walther.
Here.
Moore.
Here. Okay, we have the minutes of the council organizational meeting of January the 12th, 2016. Minutes of regular council meeting of January 12th, 2016. Minutes for the work session, council meeting January 26th, 2016. And council work session February 9th, 2016.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as is.
Okay. So be it.
Second it.
So be it. All right, this is the time for citizens to comment on matters before council or to ask questions of concern to them. When recognized, please come forward to the lectern, give your name and address, and then state your comments or questions. Council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcription. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone? Anyone? Nope. All right. Reports of village officials. Municipal manager is.
I actually have that report.
Oh, okay. Good.
Thanks, Mayor. The manager asked me to report that the Rumpke schedule for delivering the recycled wheelers is still on schedule for this Saturday, February 27th. And the wheeler will be placed at residents' curbs, and it's important for those that might be watching either on TV or through other media to know that if you are not at home on February 27th, the cart will still be delivered. If you're going to be out of town, please call us at the municipal offices, 825-2100, and we can arrange for the wheeler to be placed back towards your house. And if you have other questions that you would like to ask, you can call the municipal office, or if you want a second recycling wheeler, for example, if you want a red bin instead, what we would ask is that you do try the new wheelers for a period of time. The red bins can be kept by residents. They can be used as a collection point in your house, or you can find a new use for it. You don't have to turn that back in. There won't be any containers given out at this time or any other time for regular garbage. This is just for recycling. You can't use this wheeler for garbage. And we would just ask, particularly those who aren't recycling now, give it a try. It's actually kind of fun when you get a bigger recycling bin to see if you can challenge yourself, and I think you'll find that they fill up pretty easily when you pick out the things that are very easily, such as papers, cardboards, and those type of things that you'll find around your homes. All those Amazon cartons break up very easily and fit right in there. So this Saturday will be our delivery date on the 27th. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Any questions? All right. Law Director Jeff Forbes.
Just my usual status report on some bills at the state level. Really only one at this point that we're tracking right now, House Bill 48, which is some changes to the concealed carry law in Ohio. It's passed the House. It has gone over to the Senate and been assigned to committee, and it's still there. So we continue to watch it. And as always, if there are any other bills at the state level that you want us to add to our watch list, just let us know. We try to find them. But if there are others, we'll put it on the list.
Okay. Questions?
What's the changes they're proposing?
I'll try to, the short version is this. Under Ohio's concealed carry law right now, it basically says if you have a concealed carry, I'm overgeneralizing, but if you have a concealed carry permit, you can carry it just about anywhere, but there's a list of some specific places where you cannot carry a concealed weapon, even if you have a concealed carry permit. One of which is buildings owned by the government. When that law first happened, some local governments, some municipalities tried to adopt their own local versions that differed from that state law. Went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, nope, this is one of those times where the state law has to be uniform, and you locals can't change it. Now, one of the changes that's being proposed in House Bill 48 would give municipalities the authority to change the rule on whether you can have a concealed carry in a government building. The default rule would still be no, you cannot, but then it would give the local jurisdictions the authority to pass legislation, in essence, to allow it if you want to. There are also some changes about concealed carry in police stations. Basically says you will be able to conceal carry in the portion of a police station that is accessible to the general public. So basically
How is that different than a government-owned? It just calls it specifically.
Now
Okay.
it's just a new change to that. Although it's questionable how it will work out, because one of the other exceptions is, but you cannot conceal carry in a building that has a courthouse or a courtroom. So the question would be, what about a building like this that has both the police station and our mayor's court is here? So nobody knows exactly how it will play out. But, and I don't put too much weight in it yet, because until it passes the Senate, it may change. So we're just continuing to track it, and we'll keep you posted on any changes.
Thank you.
So maybe if it passes, you can bring your gun to council meetings.
It just seems confusing to know where, if someone is concealed carry.
It's confusing now.
Yeah.
Okay, Clerk of Council, Catherine Lives.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The January 2016 calendar and resolution numbers 2016-01F and 2016-02F were posted as required. Also, notice of the Services and Streets Committee meeting of January 25th, 2016 was also posted as required. And if there are no questions, that would conclude my report.
No questions? Okay. Moving on, Chief of Police Neil Fertelman.
Thanks, Mayor. We started our training calendar in January with some online training to show our officers how to best deal with autistic and special needs children. Members of the department attended the annual meeting of the Hamilton County Police Association. We're very proud that one of our own officers, Eric Tricase, has been appointed to the HCPA Honor Guard and will be serving on that group from here in. We have been working, the municipal manager and I, along with the law director, on revisions to our dog ordinance that has started out in law committee. Today it was discussed in traffic and safety, and that will be finalized within the next month and coming to council with our recommendations. On January 21st, we hosted the local Girl Scout troop, and they toured our headquarters and our cruisers and learned about police operations. We were pleased to have them visit. On February 9th, we posted some information to Crime Stoppers about 2 unsolved crimes in our community. One was an unsolved theft, and one was an unsolved arson, and both of those are currently on Crime Stoppers page, and we sent out a crime alert to our residents with additional information on that. I always try and include something positive that has occurred within the community, and this was a negative that turned into a positive. One of our officers, Andy Moore, received a call of a child that was locked out of her house. It turned out she had come home from school. It was in the F section. She was a small child sitting alone on her porch crying. At that particular day, the temperature was well below freezing. He was able to make contact with the mother. There was some miscommunication. There was supposed to be a brother there, and he was nowhere to be found. So Officer Moore started to bring the child to the police station. She mentioned through her crying, which was stopping, that she was hungry, so Officer Moore stopped at the Maristop and bought her a drink and some snacks. And he told me that he found all about a website called PBS Kids, which amused her until Mom got it. Andy learned a little something that day as well. And it's just one of those things, I think, that goes to show the value beyond actual law enforcement that our officers play, and he did a very good job in handling that. During the month of January, we investigated 6 accidents. That compares identically to the number in January of 2015. We had 4 crimes, up from 3 last January, 174 other incidents. We made 624 contacts with citizens. 231 of those were dispatched or received by telephone, and 393 were self-initiated by police officers. We provided assistance to the public, including that one little girl, in 130 instances. That compares to 131 last January. Assisted other agencies 40 times. During the month of January, we made 20 criminal arrests and 72 traffic arrests. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Questions of the chief?
Chief, I do have a question. That one crime that was on Crime Stoppers was the ATM incident, right?
Yes, that was the theft, and then we had the arson.
Right, and how did that work? Is there anything that people can do to prevent that? Because it sounded like the person...
Not be absent-minded like I sometimes am. What had happened was a gentleman had used the ATM and drove off and left the card there. And
Right.
as you all know, if you've used an ATM, for about maybe 30 seconds or so, there'll be an option on the screen, would you like another transaction? The car behind him pulled up, and that's what it said.
That's why he didn't need the PIN.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then our services foreman, Mike Castor, actually the following day, Lieutenant Ward was up assisting him with a plate that was off the roadway on Winton Road, and he actually, off to the side of the road, found the card. So it was tossed very soon thereafter.
Thank you.
I have a question. Well, first of all, I want to thank the police chief for the Citizens Patrol program that it's very thorough and it's very comprehensive and informative. I do understand there are other classes as well coming. We're just one finishing up this week. Have you given any thought, or is this eventually going to yield into a neighborhood watch somehow, or it's just totally independent, or what are your thoughts about that?
Well, that's a good question, and thanks for asking that. We get asked that a lot. And as you remember, back in November, we had a community-wide neighborhood watch meeting, and the purpose of that meeting, in addition to going over a comprehensive number of crime prevention tips, was to really get that seed planted with our residents. And Neighborhood Watch is just that. It works in neighborhoods. So another comprehensive meeting probably at this point would not be all that productive, but what we've done since then, particularly in the B section and the F section, we've worked with groups of citizens that have had issues, and we've been able to help informally resolve those, some of them through enforcement, some of them just through some talking with neighbors that were perceived to have some problems or be some problems. So what we're encouraging neighbors to do, particularly if, for example, we had a series of thefts in one particular part of town, we would ask that if the neighbors would let us know about those. Of course, we're going to know about the crimes, but the neighbors that are concerned with learning some more about that and working with us, we would then like to set up further meetings in the neighborhood at a particular location there. Now, in addition to that, what is already planned and will happen regardless of whether or not we're contacted by neighbors is the municipal manager is working on a series where she and I and other members of the staff will be going to some of the parks when it gets a little warmer in springtime and summer. And there will be informal meetings with neighborhood residents around that park. So I'll be there, the officer on duty will be there, the manager will be there. So that's going to be another avenue for feedback. And I'm glad you brought up the Citizens Police Academy. We do have one more session, but I've had a lot of fun with it, and I'm hoping that our members, we have 2 members here tonight from our class, and we'll be finishing up tomorrow night. We've covered an awful lot of ground, everything from patrol to criminal investigations to how we train for shooting situations and driver's training. So we've covered a lot of ground. I'm hopeful that when we have our last class, part of that will be an evaluation we're going to ask our members to do. And if our feedback is positive, even if there's some changes recommended, we hope to reoffer that again. And we're going to post on our website that we will be accepting applications, and we get enough to run another class, we'll run that again. I think that's going to be a popular thing, and we're looking forward to more of those.
Anything else? Anybody want to report for the fire chief?
Just that the Easter egg hunt is going to be on Easter Sunday.
Okay.
Everything else is status quo.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
And don't be late, because the eggs will be up by 2:02. All right, I've got a few items to report on. We have municipal court distribution summary for the mayor's court. Total amount to the county is $58.50. Total amount to the state is $1,622.50. And to the village of Greenhills, it's $6,463. And that was the month of January. And actually, I had an email today from somebody asking about whether there was going to be any RETA Tax Assistance Day for Greenhills income tax payers, and probably about 5 minutes after that email, Yvonne got an email from RETA saying they're planning a tax assistance day for Greenhills taxpayers, and it's scheduled for March the 9th from 1 to 7 p.m. at the Mount Healthy Community Room, 1504 Hill Avenue, Mount Healthy, Ohio. And there's flyers here. I think everybody got a copy of this, and they'll be posted. And she'll probably have something in the journal, too, to let people know about that. Also, in the water bills that are coming out now, this little flyer, Jason can zoom in on that, is in the water bills, saying effective March 1st, the monthly rate for collection is $12.55 per month for garbage. And the current bill on your waterworks only covers 8 billing days. The next water bill will cover a full 3 months, which will be $37.65 for those 3 months. And then additionally, I wanted to mention too that if you're not in the gas and electric aggregation program of the Village of Greenhills, you should get in that to potentially save you money, and it would be more than enough offset probably to pay for the garbage collection. There right now, at the end of December, we're 733 people in the gas aggregation program, and after being in operation for about a little over 4.5 years at that time period, it's been a total savings of $118,482 to Greenhills residents. Presently, there are 684 in the electric aggregation billing, and the total savings there has been $610,669 for a total savings of $729,152 for Greenhills residents on your utility bills. And so I think it's a good thing. And we have close to 1,300 residents in town, so there's a number of people who should be taking advantage of it. So if you want to take advantage of it, give a call up to the office, and the office staff can get you in contact with our aggregation people to start that process. And we have some pretty good gas rates now. Gas has fluctuated a lot over the years, so the savings hasn't been as great on the gas as it has been on the electric. And
Excuse
Go
me,
ahead.
would it make sense to put a one call out with that phone number possibly as well?
Let me ask Yvonne. Yeah, it might be.
You know, it's just
Yeah.
another way to communicate and give people the opportunity, especially the idea of offsetting the garbage
Yeah.
pickup cost.
And I think Yvonne's going to have something in the journal talking about that too this time. And then speaking of electric and saving money, the village service department employees have been converting all of the fluorescent lights here in this building to LED lights, which we hope will generate about a 60% savings on our electric bill as it covers lighting consumption. And I remember, I can't remember how many years ago, but we got some sort of a grant to convert all the fluorescent lights in the building to the T8 type light, which was the then thing to save money and save electric. So that's all I have. Any questions? All right, moving on. Committee reports, community development, Jeff Haller.
Yes, if you recall, I handed out a rough draft on the quick facts about property ownership. So I'm going to be meeting the mayor this week to make some adjustments. If you guys have any input, please get it to me by the end of this week if you could. Just look it over. Also, you know, maybe your spouse or whoever close by, take a look at it because we want it as accessible as possible so that those that own property clearly understand, you know, what we have here and how to best maintain it. Another thing is just heard Marty Huff has been having some health challenges from the Troubadour. They've done a great job. He's really invested in this community. And just if you get a chance, I know he's not at the restaurant now, but we wish him the best and hope he gets back to good health. Bargains and buyouts is a nice addition. It's nice to see a parking lot that's quite full on regular days and not just one day a week. And so I had a chance to drop Betsy off with her crutches so she could take a walk through and give her a play. That was her outing. My wife had broke her foot, so she's not getting out much. So that's as far as we pushed it. But it really, they seem to be doing a good job. I overheard one of the employees talking about the opening day was just unbelievable how much traffic and how many people came to visit. My sister, she'll love that. My daughter in Westchester had friends contacting her. Didn't you used to live in Greenhills? What's about? I heard Bargains and Buyouts is coming there, so it must have some impact, and it's nice to see them doing well so far. That concludes my report.
Questions? Okay. Traffic and safety, Melanie Hermes.
We met today. We discussed a lot of the same stuff the chief just talked about in his his report. We did have a little bit of feedback on the dog ordinance, and we're sending it back to laws and rules, but once they're fine with it, as long as there are no substantive changes, the Traffic and Safety Committee is behind it. Everything else seems to be status quo, and I've given my information over to the manager. We do have a couple things that we want to talk about, and we set timelines to come back and talk about them. Our next meeting is April 26th at 6 p.m.
Any questions?
Melanie, is the dog ordinance just a revision on something that's existing?
Yes.
Just some, okay.
The new prosecutor, when we got a new prosecutor last year, he asked for some revisions or clarifications to make it a stronger ordinance.
Okay.
Didn't you say putting more teeth into it?
Yeah, I did say putting more teeth into it.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Okay. Finance and audit, Mr. Dreves.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Finance and Audit also met today. It's a busy day for meetings. We reviewed where we were at through January. The January financial packet is not ready yet because the finance director was finishing up preparations for our retreat, as well as the annual report for 2015. We have the numbers for 2015, but we don't have the managerial footnotes. As far as January, it's too soon to see trends. It's only 1 month. But probably the most important thing is our fund balance from January 15 versus January 16 in the general fund is within 1% of what it was before. So that's a good sign. We discussed one resolution that we'll have later tonight, and the Finance and Audit Committee is recommending adoption. That concludes my report.
Questions? Okay, hearing none. Recreation Cable TV, Maria Walther.
I attended the Rec Commission re-meeting because they came up with some dates, and after that was said and done, they were the same dates as the mayor's court. So they had to reconvene in order to have some new dates. As I was there, the next meeting would be on March the 3rd for both the committee, Recreation Committee, at 6:30 and the commission at 7. There were some concerns that were brought up at the time there, and I'm just going to bring it forth. They wanted council, if at all in your wisdom, would revise the admission price for children and seniors. They expressed that there were some hardship for senior citizens that would have 8 or 6 or 8 grandchildren to bring it. It is a big chunk of money for someone that would be on a fixed income. And that's what they questioned, that particular bracket of people there, because a lot of grandparents are watching or taking care of the grandkids at this time. So that was the one big question that they had. We also we have also involved the Waycross, and the next meeting will be on March 16 at 7 p.m. But on the last meeting, they have added one more person, and that was Chip and Joe introduced Sheila Cottle as the new board member and council representative from Forest Park. They had some items they wanted to discard, to either sell or discard for some, for lack of use of utility for them, because they were very passé, so to speak. And Mrs. Hermes was there also, and I think she was the one that did the notes for that.
I'm the fiscal officer.
You're the fiscal officer, okay. So that's what I guess your notes have your name on it.
Yes.
So-
Is there a light that keeps flashing behind me?
So that's
It's
where I
on
got
now.
my information, because at the time I was not under the Waycross watch. And this is just a little extra trivia information for council. Tree City USA, since we also are a part this year on that, it's going to be held in West Carlton on March the 22nd, and the price of the luncheon is $20. And they're getting ready to send the information and the invitations out.
Okay.
And also, the manager is not here, but I'm permitted to say, my husband suggested also that they need to be looking for a particular tree. We'd like to donate again this year a tree for the Winton Road corridor. And we had received always input on either the mayor or the manager of what you would like to see there. And we would like, as soon as possible, that before the purchase, obviously, and so forth, and we always have it delivered at the spot. You need to mark X for the spot, we'll deliver to the spot.
You get Winton Road reforested yet?
For
Keep this up.
for the corridor and for the looks of it.
Right.
Yeah,
and,
we've lost
yeah.
quite a few pine trees.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we lost a couple, yes,
Right.
we did.
Okay, any questions? All right, hearing none. Intergovernmental Affairs, Laws and Rules, Jack Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our committee met very briefly yesterday and really have very little to report because of needing some further clarification from our standpoint on the dangerous and vicious dog ordinance. So
And I believe we got,
we're still
benefited-
barking. We're still barking at it.
you're still barking. I believe they incorporated your suggested changes when they came to us.
Okay. And we plan to review
It's off
that.
again.
Review that
I made it
at our next meeting on March 21st at 9 a.m. Thank you.
Any questions? Hearing none, moving on, Service and Streets, Jeff Cabot.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Service and Streets has actually met twice last couple of months, and we've discussed quite a few things. First off is the street signs, and the unit over at Burley and Andover took a turn for the worse with the wind on Friday. So I'm going to bring that back up in our next work session. Maybe the redesign or some other ideas moving forward to kind of keep some of that nostalgia that we're all looking for. We also talked about the current status of our service vehicles and kind of a guideline of where that money's probably going to need to be spent as far as replacing units that are on their last leg, so to speak, which has changed in the last 30 days. What we thought was going to be the number one machine is now number two because something else has cropped up. The siding option for the service building to cover up the paint issue, I guess I'll call that. Mike's looking into maybe getting some corrugated paneling for the south and the east side. The west side and I guess the north side are block, and the adhesion of the paint actually worked really well on those two sides. So we're thinking to cover up those front sides the public sees, maybe get into some corrugated metal to cover that up. We also talked about dumpsters. Streets and Services can't get together without talking about trash. So dumpsters at the shopping center, whose responsibility for the dumpsters that are behind there, and what does the village owns, which I think we've determined is the recycling bins are ours, but the dumpsters themselves all are maintained and operated by the shopping center tenants and Rumpke. And then the last thing we actually talked about was an idea of a dump day for the village residents to maybe have a couple of containers dropped off on a Saturday, and from a specific time of the day, they can bring up anything that's oversized or just needs to get out of the house, and can do it all in one day and just bring it up here and drop it off. And that ends my report. And our next meeting, I believe, is scheduled for the 28th at 8 o'clock.
28?
To look at I thought it was the 4th,
Okay.
Monday?
Monday the 28th.
Yes.
Okay.
I
Any
have
questions?
I have a question, and
Yeah.
I don't know if you can answer, or maybe Mr. Forbes can. One of the problems that we had also was the money involved, the warranty of the painting. Has that been resolved, and is that the corrugated things that you're going to put on that going to be covered by that, or is that an additional expense? Where are we in that situation?
There's another attorney in my office who was working with Yvonne on that matter, although the last time I talked to him, I think basically Yvonne had just taken that project back and was working on that internally here. I think I will tell you the difficult part in all of that is to make a warranty claim. It's not an easy process, because you have to, in essence, it would appear that they may have done the best job they could have on the material that they painted over. So the warranty doesn't do you much good if what was there to begin with was, which is why I think the point is that on some faces of that building, the paint adhered better than on others.
I think that it's been further complicated by the fact that the company in question went under. We did recover some money from that, though.
Do we know how much money do we recover from that?
I do not
You
know
don't
any of
I-
the details. I know.
Jeff, was it
No.
$5,000?
That's the number that sticks in my head that
Yeah.
she mentioned at our
About-
January meeting, that the company was going or was out or going out of business, and what he could give us was, I think it's the $5,000 was the correct amount.
Yeah.
And what is the cost of the corrugated cover that they're working on?
We have not got any pricing yet from Michael on that.
The only thing, if I can make a suggestion, I was concerned because the rust, that the building has so much rust on it, and you could paint all day long. When you guys considered, are you considering siding it? Are you looking at vinyl and other things versus, metal on metal? Something that would,
Well, I think it's like corrugated roofing, galvanized kind of thing,
okay.
or pre-painted panels,
Okay.
which would be relatively easy to mount
Sure.
to the metal side. But,
I mean, it's a tough job.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at that building and all, it reminds me of a giant battleship, that's been sitting there, but, just a thought as far as
It's,
what
yeah,
we can
types
do
of
to-
material to use. I mean, I get you. Yeah.
There was one bit of good news as and Jeff brought up the fact of the wind load on the sign was a little questionable after the initial test, but the federal deadline was eliminated, so we at least have a little bit of time to work out the kinks. And
you're talking about for the street sign.
For the street signs, reevaluate and make sure that we are moving in the right direction as far as what we want the look to be, and depending on where the quotes come in, how we can go about covering that cost, whatever it may end up being.
I liked your phase idea, possibly phasing it in. It's one of the rare opportunities we have to affect the perceived value and the aesthetic of the village. And I agree with David Adams, who had sent that in, that we should at least have it at key intersections and hopefully everywhere eventually. But
And I think we'll bring that material to the next work session to kind of review that stuff that he had worked on a few years ago.
and I did have somebody offer to buy or pay extra to get a nicer sign at their intersection. So that's something we can look at.
corporate sponsors, I like
Yeah,
it.
corporate sponsor, East 3CF.
Coca-Cola,
That ends my report, Mayor.
Any other questions? All right, moving on, new business. We have ordinance number 2016-01 L&R, amending section 301.51 of the Greenhills Codified Ordinance regarding vehicles. Councilmember Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the first reading of ordinance 2016-01 L&R, amending section 301.51 the Greenhills Codified Ordinance regarding vehicles. Whereas the use of portable storage containers has become popular due to limited amount of on-street parking available in Greenhills, it is necessary to be clear that such containers are not vehicles and therefore cannot be placed on streets in the village. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, that Section 301.51 vehicles of the Village of Greenhills Codified Ordinance are hereby amended to read as follows. Vehicle means every device, including motorized bicycle, in, upon, or by which any person or property may be transported or drawn upon a street or highway, except that vehicle does not include any motorized wheelchair, electric personal assisted mobility device, or any device other than a bicycle that is moved by human power. And then the added verbiage, vehicle does not include portable storage containers or any such container that must be delivered and picked up by other means. The next reading will be at the next regular meeting in March. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, and if I can briefly divert back before reading or introducing the next resolution, your memory was right, it was $5,000.
Yeah.
We were hoping for $9,000, but they went out of business, so I guess we got $5,000.
And having just joined, I don't know what the original outlay of cash was. What did we pay them?
19,000.
Was it 20?
I thought it was
I think it's
17.
closer to 20, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Resolution number 2016-03 SNS, resolution authorizing assessment on certain properties in the Village of Green Hills. That's yours.
Yeah. So do I have to,
You move to adopt.
I move to adopt a resolution number 2016?
You have to,
After you read the
after you read.
All right.
Well, he can say it and then read the whole thing.
So I make a move, okay. Resolution authorizing assessments on certain properties in the Village of Green Hills. Whereas the village has given proper notice to the owners of certain real property in the Village of Green Hills regarding the removal of vegetation, refuse, garbage, and/or debris from the properties listed below. And whereas the owners of said properties did not take action to remedy the violations, and therefore the Village of Green Hills contracted to remove vegetation, refuse, garbage, and/or debris, and now seeks to collect said expenses by authorizing the placement of a lien upon the lands and collected as other taxes. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Green Hills, Section 1, that the Village Council hereby certifies that the cost of such labor, together with the expenses relative thereto, be filed on the return and statement to the Hamilton County Commissioners as an assessment against the properties listed and placed as a lien against the properties by the Auditor of Hamilton County, Ohio, as follows. Do I have to read all these? 597-0010-0077-00, 30 Imbler Drive, Christiana Trust, cost of $93.19. 597-0010-0140-00, 65 Ilona Drive, Bridget M. and Jeffrey K. Neiman, $206.49. 597-0050-0012-00, 50 Junefield Avenue, Branch Banking and Trust, $93.19. 597-0050-0012-00, 50 Junefield Avenue, Branch Banking and Trust, $93.19, for a grand total of $486.06. Section 2, that all amounts collected as a result of this resolution shall be placed into the general fund of the Village of Green Hills. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force and take effect immediately upon its passage.
I so move.
I so move to pass this resolution.
I second.
Okay. Any questions, comments?
I have a question since,
Yeah.
I guess I'm assuming the 50 Junefield Avenue, we did it twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, different dates.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Right. Okay. Clerk, call the roll.
Hermes,
Aye.
Kavod,
Aye.
Dries,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Okay, resolution carries. Resolution 2016-03-SNS, authorizing assessments on certain properties in the Village of Green Hills, passes. Okay, next, we have another one, resolution number 2016, and it says on here 03, but it should be 04.
04F.
Do we need to do anything? 04F versus SNS.
yeah, the actual resolution says 04.
Okay.
The resolution's fine, I just want to make sure we didn't have to change the agenda. I think it's a typo, it's not a change of the topic. Okay.
Okay.
Resolution 2016-04F, resolution making supplemental appropriations and transfers. Whereas the 2016 annual appropriations that were adopted on December 8, 2015 are to be amended, and whereas appropriations must not exceed total available resources of the village per Ohio Revised Code, Section 5705.36A5. However, an amended certificate estimated resources does not need to be requested from the County Budget Commission. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, that since certain actions are needed in the monies appropriated so to permit the Village of Greenhills to purchase police radios during the year 2016, the following items of expenditure are to supplement the appropriations for expenditure for the year 2016. Fund 2081, Drug Enforcement and Education, prior appropriation amount $4,000, change in appropriation $6,000, total revised $10,000. Section 2, this resolution will take effect and be in full force from and after its passage, passed on this 23rd day of February 2016. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
I second it.
Okay. Been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 2016-04-F. Do we have any questions or comments?
Just a comment, this is money that we have in the Drug Enforcement and Education Fund, and we're just moving it from a budgeted item to an appropriated item, and so the chief can go out and buy new radios, and we can catch bad people doing bad things.
Okay. Clerk, call the roll.
Kavod,
Aye.
Dries,
Aye.
Alter,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Hermes.
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 2016-04-F, resolution making supplemental appropriations and transfers passes. Okay, calendar. Easter egg hunt.
That'd be on
March
Easter.
27th
Right.
at 2.
The Tax Assistance Day in Mount Healthy for Greenhills residents, taxpayers, March the 9th from 1 to 7 p.m.
Spring leaf collection, April 3rd, the week of April 3rd, I think is the goal right now to have that for residents.
One time.
Yeah, 1 week, April 3rd.
One pickup.
Yep.
Have it out there on Monday. Anything else?
Citizens Police Academy graduation right here tomorrow night, 8 a.m., 8 p.m.
Long ceremony.
Come early or come late.
Okay.
Laws and rules, I will correct this, Mick, at the 28th at 9 a.m., so.
It's the fourth week,
Huh?
I don't know, I have them all at the fourth Monday.
Okay, that's fine.
Streets and Services, fourth Monday, the 28th, 8 a.m.
Traffic and safety isn't meeting until April, it's the 26th at 6.
Recreation Committee, March the 3rd and at 6:30, and the commission at 7. And for the Waycross, the meeting is March 16 at 7 o'clock.
And a little ahead of schedule, April 13th, community development at 4:30.
Is that it? Are we adjourn?
We should.
Okay,
You're the boss.
that's it. Good night.
Good night.